Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. In this video, I'm going to be specifically talking to my involuntarily celibate young men out there. As today, I know there will probably be a lot of people, even myself included, I am single at this time, who are maybe feeling a little bit down in terms of not having that partner, and they see other people in their life who have that kind of relationship and they're kind of seeking it. And then there's those who would be classified in that incel category that find it easier to blame women overall as opposed to maybe it being a little bit of fault on both sides, which it really is. And so this video I have right up here, but it's going to be really just about me hopefully being a source of encouragement to some of my younger guys out there that while it is very difficult in this day and age to find something with meaning, I would say, I definitely not so much so for the hookup culture. That you can work your way around a little bit and end up hooking up with somebody for a night, but to me that it just there's no value in it. But in terms of finding that more longer term, more meaningful relationship, social media has definitely skewed the expectations of both men and women to the point where a lot of guys maybe feel like they just are not good enough and it's the women's fault for not ever noticing them. And while I do think that there is some validity to that women are just seeking the very best in everything, which is okay, but they kind of fail to understand that the kind of guys that they claim they deserve, which are like the 6 foot, 6 or 7 figure guys who are shredded, of the very, very small number of men out there who are actually like that, they would never. Well, if on the off chance they even did sleep with you, it would maybe be for one night stand and then they would be done because they have so many options. Why would they ever settle down? Is the thing. And so a lot of them fail to realize that, unfortunately. But then specifically to my younger guys out there who maybe classify themselves in that involuntarily celibate group, the incels, I would say it is very difficult to not have that kind of relationship when, especially like for myself, when a lot of my friends are in them, are married or whatever and having kids, I'm like, I don't even have a girlfriend right now. While it is a little bit discouraging, I would say don't let the bombardment of negative thoughts and feelings overtake you. This is our season of growth. This is our time to just, there's really no other way to say it. Sit down and grind. I don't want to sound like a broken record, like all you have to do is grind, never think about anybody else. But really trying to find that way to put yourself in that groove, to better yourself in ways that you may not even really notice anything today, but maybe in a year's time, you could present yourself as just a better option than a lot of the guys around you. Even just starting to go to the gym or putting on a little bit of muscle, getting a little lean too. It can go a long way to just set yourself above a bunch of people in our day and age because a lot of, I can't remember the exact statistic, but it's something like, I think almost like 50%, probably over that, of Americans classified as obese, which is just ridiculous to me. So, even something as small as just working out for 30 minutes a day, just getting active, trying to figure out ways to look better, feel better, and things like that. Not only in the process of working out do you feel better because you're pursuing that goal, but you also start to look better, and then you would look better to other potential suitors. That's something that I've been doing recently. I recently, I guess you could say, moved away from everything in terms of family and friends and like that. I'm in a new city, don't really know anybody, don't have any connections, so I'm just basically starting from square one. And I'm just doing my best to figure out ways on how I can even better myself every day to kind of get to that man that I want to then be able to provide for that future relationship in whatever way I can. So I would say to my young guys out there, definitely don't fully blame women for everything, because the moment that you completely blame somebody else, you've taken the responsibility off of yourself, and that leaves you a lot of loopholes and things like that for you to weasel your way out of them. I myself have done this in the past. That's why I'm saying this. The moment that you try and find ways to blame other people for what is going on, even if it could be their fault, you fail to realize in what ways you can still better yourself to be that better potential partner. And I mean, all it takes is one. I know it's really difficult nowadays. Trust me, I get it. But just find ways, find passions that you would enjoy to pursue for the rest of your life. Figure out in what way you could provide value to the world and whatever that is. And then I promise you, in the midst of that, there will be occurrences that you never even thought would happen. You run into somebody, you start talking, and then boom, it happens. I mean, you hear all the stories all the time of how people married now met on some random chance type deal, going to some party they weren't even going to go to, or some event or something like that. So it's definitely finding ways to put yourselves in those different situations where you could find those potential people. But at the end of the day, you have to be content within yourself first before you can try to be content with somebody else, because I promise you, they will not fill the hole that is in you, that you I mean, you can't even really fill it yourself, but you'll be able to fill it more than somebody else, because if you constantly chase the admiration and affection of other people, you kind of are missing the point of the relationship in the grand scheme of things. Because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be two people together, coming together, bettering themselves, and just kind of helping each other progress. And so that's what I would say to my incel guy, or people who maybe not even classify, but people who would feel like they're a part of that group in a way, like they haven't really gone on any dates in a while. They kind of feel like women's expectations are kind of high nowadays, which they are. Unfortunately, social media has kind of ruined, skewed that for a lot of people, but that's just the world we live in. So the one thing I know that you can do to kind of find that purpose and meaning would be to find the things that you enjoy doing and then just dive into it. Dive into it as best as you can. I'm not saying you have to disregard the rest of the world. In fact, I would say, in pursuit of trying to find that thing that you are passionate about, also try and find ways to provide value to others, not even necessarily just to in a relationship, but to friends, family, if you go to church, anything like that. Because that is another way to feel. I keep saying feel, but I mean, a lot of it has to do with feelings, it seems like. You will feel satisfied in knowing that you are trying, or even are adding value to other people's lives. And that in itself can kind of not completely remove, but almost in a way get you to start thinking about, hey, maybe relationships aren't the end all be all. They're definitely important and they're definitely a great thing to have. But just because I don't have one right this second, it doesn't mean I won't get one in the future. And it doesn't mean that if I'm not in one right now, my life is meaningless. Because trust me, I've had all these thoughts before. It's something that happens, I feel like, with a lot of young guys. So I thought I would give my 2 cents on the situation. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and comment down below what you think about it. It is interesting to see in what ways people are able to overcome these obstacles that they find in their life to then better themselves and then eventually they didn't think they would ever be able to find a relationship, and then they end up doing it. So yeah, thank you all for so much for stopping by, and I hope to see you around.